Good afternoon, folks. You're all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodyman Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Sorry, folks, that we take a little time. Time went by and tear flies on you. I'm gonna bring in my partner, and here he is. We have here my partner Jared. Get moving. He is on mute here. Get yourself our mute partner. I'm waiting on you to join me. So anyway, as you know, over the weekend was one of the biggest shows for bodybuilding next to the Rise of Phoenix, and that is, I think I would say next to Olympia, then you have the Rising, and then you have a couple other shows. Was the Tampa Bay Pro, and it was the 15th anniversary of the show. It's like I said, Tim Gardner's production. They've been promoting female bodybuilding for the longest time, even back when after 2014, when the IFBB dropped female bodybuilding from the lineup. Tim Gardner was the only person that still had female bodybuilding on his lineup. So we got man Jared here. I mean
Hello, hello.
Jen. Jen, I got
Yeah,
his name Jen. Jen, and I know he watched the show. I just,
yes.
I like I said, I'm on my budget, so I caught some stuff here and there, and he gives us perspectives of the show of what you feel is, do you think that Dion deserved to win, or you felt like it was just, what's your thought?
Okay. Yes, I did watch this show and I did watch it in full, pretty much the entire thing. There was commentary by Linda Murray and Chris. I'm not sure, some bodybuilder. I can't.
It's
I
Chris
don't remember.
Cormier.
Yeah.
Chris Camilla, everybody know he's a legend. He goes back to the early days of bodybuilding. He's been a multiple time Arnold Schwarzenegger competitor and also Olympia competitor.
Okay. Good to know. Um, yeah. So the show. There was okay. So how to put this? I would say that there was certain competitors that I feel got too low, and certain competitors I think were just right. Um, um, First and foremost, Christy Dion. I think
Chelsea,
overall, Chelsea Dion.
yeah.
I think she probably should have gotten first for the most part. I think overall her package was probably the best. Maybe not all um, her body parts were up to shape, but the overall package was the best I found of all the competitors there. Um, I knew that it went down to her or uh, Sh-
Sheena
Sheena
Olick.
Olick. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and going into this, uh, um, what's her name? Sherry Per, per,
Priami, Priami,
Parami.
yeah, Sherry Priami.
Um, I think she got second at the um, uh,
Chicago.
Chicago. Um, so she was probably she was going into this probably the favored one. I don't know. I mean, overall, she looks actually pretty good herself. I guess uh, honestly, I felt that Oleg looked a little too
Full, not as dry as they say it, because that's one thing I think we're talking about with Sheena, that she wasn't in as great condition she was in Chicago, but she came in a little better for Tampa, but wasn't just as tight like she needed to be. As you know, a while back, Sheena had went under some surgery. Also, she had also some injuries kind of set her back. It wasn't for that because I know she mentioned that when she was on the Female Bodyman channel a while back, where she had shoulder surgery, and sometimes it takes a while. I mean, it takes like at least a good. Well, I had a guy who I knew he had shoulder surgery a while back, and I'm thinking about getting it for myself too. It takes about at least 2 months or so. So that means that even if she could, prep for the show, it was good enough time for her, but still, I think that might have set her timing back a little bit. What do you think?
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely. I think structurally wise, uh, um, she just didn't come off as as well as I think she should have came off as. Um, I'm just looking at the pictures here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Yeah.
just comparing her to Sherry.
Well,
Yeah,
let's see
I
right here.
really don't.
Right here, good
Sorry.
morning. We got my man JM 2022. Congratulations to Chelsea. My girl Sheena Oleg didn't win, but that's okay. I love them both at the Tampa. Much respect to you, JM. The funny thing is that Chelsea and Sheena have become BFFs and are now really tight in terms of friendship. Even after Chelsea beat Sheena, they are still very close and love each other. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I saw them, they were like she was very much into cookies, and they were in Chicago. They She had a cookie with she had a pizza in between two cookies. She ate a piece and she let Chelsea eat up some of that cookie too. Now I tell you, especially with vibes going on, you have to be really good friends with somebody that eat off your food. So as you were saying, that the fact is that the structure of Sheena couldn't really compete, as you say, with the structure of what Chelsea brought. Because Chelsea, she's a little taller. I think she was about 5'7", and I think Chelsea's like around 5'9". So we think that height difference might have been the one part about it.
Um, yeah, yeah. I definitely think that was definitely a factor in it as well. There is a height thing as well. Uh, um, there's something with the abdominals that it's like just um, hard to describe. It's too blocky, I guess is a good word. Um, I just don't think she came off as dry and as conditioned as Sherry.
Chelsea, Cherry or Chelsea.
Well, Cherry and Chelsea as well.
Mhm.
I don't think Chelsea should have gotten third. I think she probably should have gotten second if I were to be.
You mean Sherry? Yeah, second sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I think with Sherry, she's still developing as a bodybuilder. For a good while, she was a physique competitor. She made a switch at Atlanta. She did pretty good, took second in that show. Then made the switch, and then she competed at Chicago, and she took second in that show, and taking third this show. You know, she's in the running, and I think don't you got they put out the point systems yet?
Mm, mm, give me a second on that one.
Yeah, I think with that show, I believe it's supposed to be a second tier show or third tier show. So that's like already for I think 8 or 9 points for Chelsea. I mean for Sheena, and maybe 8 or 7 points for Sherry. Right here,
Uh, yeah. So That show actually bumped Sheena Oleg up to 12. Um, actually, Sherry's actually at 17, so
Mm,
that show actually bumped her up to second in the running,
yeah, that's it. Because that means
even above, even above,
Mona and
even above Mona, Mona Stephanie Fletcher.
I see you from Brazil, yeah, and yeah, because those three has 12 points. We got here, my man, JM 2020, two. George, I know you hate the vacuum poses Chelsea Dion was doing, but honestly, the thing I think it's uh, liberating to see her as a woman incorporate it in her posing as stage since men do it all the time. Nah, like I said, I'm not a fan of the vacuum thing. I'm not a fan of the vacuum thing. Let the guys do that, and women do their style. I don't like the vacuum thing. I don't like it. I love Angela Yo incorporating the most muscular pose in her routine at Chicago Pro. It's liberating and empowering to see it displayed on stage. She even said it is the interview on Female Bodybuilding Channel with AJ. Yeah, and JB. You can't forget JB, JM. Yeah, I like the most muscular pose. Is a pose that they pretty much try to tell women bodybuilders don't do, but it's a great pose. It is a beautiful pose. I mean, people like, I remember back in the day, Betty Pariso, she did it because what it was, what helped her in her, I think, in her, scoring. That's why she scored better after that. I know Alicia Young does it, and quite a few others have done it. It's a great pose, and I know it's seen as masculine pose, but still, it's a very popular pose. Now with the points is changing now, and in order to get into the Olympia, you have to win or qualify. And now after this show, you have Sheena. She's already got 12 points, and Sherry's now second runner behind Michelle Jen.
Yeah,
hmm So you have Savannah coming up in September. And as you know, people who follow me, I am planning to go to the show. I'm hoping nothing happens. Nothing, this I shouldn't jinx myself. Knock on wood. I'm going to Savannah because where I live at, I'm only a good 4 or 5 hours away from Savannah. A lot closer than some people. And I'm gonna get a train because I'm not gonna drive because that's a good drive there. I hit 95, but nah, yeah, that's a good drive there. And I am going to go see the show in person because this is something I always want to do. I have the time to do it, and I should do it.
yeah,
Now, with the standards changing, now you have, you know, most definitely, as you know, you have Andrea on top. Then you have Margie behind her. We all know Hell is out because of a shoulder injury. Then you have Eva Montgomery, who won the first show of the season. Then Teresa and Vasic, uh, Donna Salib. After that, you have, I think, Rashada Boswell. Then you have the chick from Brazil, and you have Bronca. Also, you have Michaela, Angela, and now you have Chelsea. And then you have the three contenders, which is going to be which is Michelle, Sherry, and right now we have to wait and see how it looks because um, Sheena is in a four-way tie with Mona Porcele, Stephanie Fletcher, the other chick from Brazil, and that's it.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. So it's still in the running in terms of that, but we're finally starting to see it start solidifying as well among certain competitors. Um, so, so that was um, that was there was one competitor that I feel scored very very low. Um, um, and that was Tina Mayor. Or
Tina Mayo, Guamona. We say Miss Tina. because that last name. I did a video about her, and this was her debut as a bodybuilder. She's been competing. I just did my comparison video about her and another competitor at the show. That's you follow my channel, Sydney Reyes. And Tina's been in bodybuilding since the '90s. She started out she did one show in '95. Then she took some time to become a mother and have a family. And then she came back in 2013, competed, got a pro card in 2016, made it, made her debut as a bodybuilder as Physique in 2019, and she's competed in a couple of shows. She did the Vancouver Island show early this year, and then she did the Omaha about a couple months ago, and then she switched over to his bodybuilding this show, and she looked pretty impressive. I think she was pretty good, especially for a woman who's like she in her mid 40s, late 40s, I would say. And I'm surprised she didn't compete in the 40 plus part of the Masters, along with Tamara Macaire, Cheryl Mears, and Jennifer Sweeney.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna show you a little clip from. If you hadn't seen the show, I'm gonna show you a little clip. Some of the one we posted on their social media. It's a little clip for the show, and these are some amazing women. I mean, it looks pretty good. My dear friend is Gabby Vega, who become friendly when she's there. They put it down as Gabby Pena, but her name is Gabriela de Pena Vega. So they put it the Vega part. They put. You also have Pauline Nelson, who's there, Victoria Dominguez, who took fourth. And some say that Victoria, she placed a little too high. I think one thing I think her back was pretty good, but I think the rest of her, I think, come together. Jennifer Sweeney, and there's Sheena, right, just right there, and you got Sherry. She's doing the most muscular pose. I mean, guys love that. You have Tamara McCarr. I talked to Tamara. I told her, don't be sitting in the back. Come out in the front. Get out in the front. And this Cheryl Mears. And Miss Mears, as you know, is a cancer survivor, and she competed in the 40 plus and also 50 and 55 plus, along with Michelle Brandt. And she was a physique competitor, but she switched over from physique to bodybuilding this year. I think she competed last year, but she started making her debut in bodybuilding this year. It's pretty. I'd say a pretty impressive lineup of ladies here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I concur too with placing wise. I think some competitors got too high, some competitors got too low. Tina got way too low for my taste.
It should be like in the top 6, because there's somebody see that.
I'd say top 3, honestly.
Sometimes Gina Lukowski just didn't come in and make a position like she. I think Gina got older. I think and she won Best Pose of that show. And I'm a big fan of Gina Lukowski. But like I said, I think she might think about retiring. My man JM just dropped this one here. I saw Jessica Reyes Padilla compete and win. Yes, she just also I think Jessica did a show in Colombia. I don't know if it was a Olympic qualifier, but she did that show, and then she did the show in Tampa. And you're right, George. She is getting big and should maybe do WPW, and that's women's physique. And I think so too, Jay. I mean, she's really getting, I think she's really getting away from what figure supposed to be. It's supposed to be a substitute for, for women who don't want to get into the physique division, who feel like they're too small for bodybuilding, still too small for physique, but feel like they couldn't do bikini or fitness. And that's the division that I think is. My man JM just dropped this one here too. Savannah Pro should be interesting. Hopefully, a good show and noting controversy. No, nothing controversial. Oh yeah, we can hope that. We can say that. JM dropped this also. Chelsea, Angela, Michaela, is Mona going to be at Savannah? From what I heard, JM, I was surprised she did Tampa because she has 12 points and she won Tampa last year. But from I heard, because you can get points at the Rising Phoenix. She's focusing on the Rising Phoenix, and she's possibly with Hella out. I think depending on how she looks, because I see pictures of her she posts on social media. She looks really like she put on some size, especially on the leg. She was, if I mentioned, I think I mentioned before another live stream that Mona has moved to Texas. She lives in Houston now because she said it was back and forth to Canada was a thing. So she moved to Texas. I mean, Texas is becoming a growing mecca for bodybuilding. A lot of people are moving there. I think it's because I think the weather is a lot more reasonable, whatever else. You know, uh, Hell yes, men love the most muscular pose from these ladies. Yes, guys do love that most muscular pose. I'm telling you, it's something about that pose. Just how the guys do it, but when the women do it, it's just for us muscle fan guys, it's just something I don't sensual about it. I think just where the muscles are just popping, you're looking at the chest, you're looking at the shoulders. It's just, I think it's more sensual on a woman than anything. Now, I'm gonna talk about one thing is, you don't follow physique as much as I do, uh, Jen, but
Yeah.
uh, it was a pretty, they had a heavy lineup this year for the physique division. I mean, it was deep. It was deep. They had at least nearly 30 women at this show, counting the women. There was like I think 24 to 25 women in the um, open part. Then you had another, I believe, um, I think 5 or 6 competing in the two masters classes, such as 40 plus, 50 plus, and 55 plus. And I think and it was just, I'm telling you, it was a really deep, you know, um, lineup. Now, one lady who won the show is, if you follow her, is Jenny Feldman, and Jenny lives in Florida. Jenny's also friends with a lady I'm confronted with. That is um, Daphne Carter, and Daphne was there. She said she was proud of her friend, and Jenny's also, she's a mom. She has 3 sons, and she's competed for a good while. And for the pictures, Jenny looked really good. I mean, Jenny on the block. I mean, especially for a woman in her mid 40s, and she had look at her great definition of legs, great lat development. Maybe it's a bait that she might want to go to open, but I think she's comfortable where she's at. So, what do you think about Jenny?
Yeah, for the most part, I think definitely. She. Yeah. I'm looking at her right now. I think definitely. Open bodybuilding. There is a. She's definitely in the running to if she were to compete, and she'd probably get in the very top placing for that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think she's pretty impressive. I mean, she came in good condition. This is going to be, I think she's done the Olympia, I think 2 or 3 times before previously. I know she competed last year. And I know I was talking with my dear friend, Mr. Big Keith Williams. He's doing a little better now. He's still going through stuff. And he was there at the show because his wife Tina was there working the booth for Winter Strength. And we were talking, that afternoon because they did the women's bodybuilding and the women's physique shows. That their prejudging, I think, was like about 7 to 8 o'clock that morning, and we were talking. You called me, and we were talking, and he saw a particular young lady who, kind of like he said she had the goods. And I said, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with him because this is a girl. She's originally from Mexico, and she competed, and as you know, she's one of she's fourth. She took fourth last year. She, at the Olympia. And for the pictures I saw, I thought she was going to win the show. But, I think, it's just that Jenny, she really came in and brought a good kick. That's Anna Hardas. And Anna looked pretty good. I mean, I thought most definitely, I thought she was going to be possibly, win the show. But she took second. I think with her, Anna, she's tall and she has great features about her. Like I said, Latin. Like I think Jimmy's also. I think she's Latin also. I don't know what Jimmy's background. She looks a little bit. She might be like Latin, maybe something like maybe Filipino or something like that. But Jenny has a great. I think she's tall. She has a great look to her. I think right now she is she is in the top four for the Olympia. I think she already got her 12 points. This show, I think if you check, she in women's physique, I think she's now jumped up because I think that the show gives her, I think either 8 or 9 points, and she already had 12 because she took fourth at the Olympia last year, so she put up 20 points.
Yeah. Check.
Yeah, just check it out. But like I said, she has a great physique. I mean, she has great qualities about it. Also, a lady who one lady who I become friendly with. She was competing in the show, and she didn't do as good like I hoped her to do. That is a lady I did an interview right back. We're still talking, and that is Kira. You know, Kira Hall. And me and Kira talking, and she was kind of disappointed that she didn't place a little higher. She tied for 16th with a bunch of other women because this was a deep. They had to do what they had to do was that he was telling me because there were so many women, they had to do seven. Yeah, like the first women in call out was seven, and they had to break it down to the next six women after that because it was so deep. I mean, there was so many bodies at that show, and and I think the physique division has always seemed like it's stacked. Always have a lot of competitors. Everybody is just it is it's a deep division. You know, I wish women's open was just as deep, but it's like I said, it's just but Kira, she's a great lady. I know a while back she said she had to deal with a back injury. Also, I think Kira is also. I think she's pretty tall herself. Her and you know, she's a tall woman. This is a picture of Kira right here. Kira has a great physique. I think this is I think from I believe from last year and this year. And she really made the adjustments, and I think she really looked great. I feel like probably was hoping that she at least possibly made the top 10, but then she didn't. Now, also at the show was a lady who won the show last year, and that was Lika Ferrakova. And I don't know what happened. Lika didn't do too good like she did last year. She tied for 16th with so many others. And I'm wondering what happened to Linka. Because last year she won the Tampa, played second at Texas, you know, and it's just I think she did compete at the. I don't think she got the top 10 at the Olympia, you know, but she's from the Czech Republic, but she just I don't know she just didn't come in condition like she should have. I mean, it might have been I don't know. I think she lives in the states now. I was talking with some people say I think now that she lives in the states that it might have affected how her condition looked because a lot of those women who come um, from Europe, the gear they use is high level compared to what's here in America. The stuff in America is watered down. So if she's living here now in uh you know the states, she's not using the gear that she used to because she's been a two-time Olympic competitor. She competed 2021 and 2018. So the question is, was she able to bounce back? And because she hadn't done any shows, only just at Tampa. That's the only show she did. So she able to bounce back? I don't know. Like, man, JM 2022. Uh, do you think she needs to switch over to female bodybuilding? She's fine where she's at. Yes, she is. Jeannie's fine where she at. I don't think she'll probably do as well in bodybuilding. I think she's probably fine where she at. Has Tina Williams ever competed at the Miss Olympia? No, JM. No, she has never competed at the Olympics. She's been to Rise of Phoenix. I remember we did an interview last year. We did an interview. She was no last year. Was the year before last year? Okay, see like time flies. She told me how she came up short by points, and she didn't do the Tampa that year. That was 2021. She felt like she done the Tampa. That probably would get her the points, and she would probably have made the Olympia. But she's short by a point. And that thing is always the thing about being short by a point. Be like Vizzy said, be a yard or be in a mile, wins the win. So as we said, the Tampa was was a good show. I mean, a lot of ladies came, they represented themselves. I think from my hearing, some ladies are now they're resting. Some women are not going to do any more shows till probably next year. Some are getting ready for the Savannah. As you know, the Savannah is coming up in September. It's the Linda Murray show. It's the Linda Murray show. We also will have women's physique in it, and also we're going to do master shows, master class. So we going and I from information I dropped from one of my little birdies, she is going to do that show. So this would possibly can give her some points to possibly because I think with the she has 12 points. If she wins, she goes to Olympia. Plays second, she gets 16 points. And like I said, they expanded the qualification for Olympia because last year it ended right around September. Remember that, Jared? I mean, Jen?
Ended what? Oh yeah.
Yeah, because last year it stopped after I think the last year's Savannah. I think that was at around September, but now they expanded to all the way to November for point qualifications for a show. And there's only two more after the Savannah. You only have two shows that come up in November, and that is the Marine Muscle Fest and the Europa Championship.
Oh, and Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, I forgot Rising Phoenix. I forgot that. Yeah, Rising Phoenix. But to me, with the Rising Phoenix, when you have already about maybe half the women that earn their qualification by winning Olympia, those points are just going to be don't really mean anything because those women already got the qualification. Yeah, other than I think
Mona Priscilla is not.
Well, yeah, she could need. That's why we talk about Mona. That's why she's doing on the Rising Phoenix because he want to get the points for that. People like Michaela Aycock, a couple others. You have I think Leah Danny. I think she has 3 points from the Atlanta show. And I talked to Lena. She was focused on things coming up. She wasn't going to do any more shows till the Rising. Um, you have Lisa Cross. We had competed in almost I think 5 years. I think the last time I competed back in 2018. You have Tina. Tina's looking for points, and you also have the lady who just won Miss International a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, after that, if you need any more points, you have to do Europa or you have to do Europa and um uh Romania to maybe get enough points for the Olympia. You know. But as Michelle Jenny got the lead with 22 points. She's right now she's sitting chilling because she could have done another show if she wanted to.
And Sherry is a little bit behind, but not by much. With
17 points, like I said.
17 points, yes. And then we got like a 4-way tie at 12.
And we can't forget Irene Anderson. She has 11 points. If Irene if Irene's going to wait on doing the Rising Phoenix for points, what she should have did was this, like she should done the Portugal Pro show, and or is she? When is the? I think the Rising is the last show for. I think when's the date? Okay, what's the date for the Rising? I'm trying to remember. Let me try to find it. I think
October.
it's November. Where's the list? Yeah, I think the list. Let me see. Wings of Strength here. Be patient with us, we're folks. We're trying to get some information. I'm waiting for my hand of the key of the emperor. He's a little faster than I am on these. Let's see. Let's see. The Rising is November the 5th.
November 5th for Rising, and then November 6th for Europa, then November 12th for Romania.
So that means that it's going to be tight. So that means that some competitors who probably need the points to qualify for the Olympia, who didn't get pulled into the Rising, should go and do Europa. I know it's overseas. I think they have it in Spain. If people like, I think who I think about Sherry, she probably do the Europa if she wants. Also, let me see who else. I think how many points? I think how many points did Victoria Dominguez has? I think she has. She took fourth, so she has like the 6 or 5 points.
She's at 6.
So six. So that show is 4 points. It wouldn't be enough to get her in there. Sherry, if she does Europa, that'll give her probably 21 points. Or she can either win or she can place. If she does that, because there's a lot of competitors overseas who probably do that show. I know one lady who I talked to is Ivana Dovakova. I think she's planning to do that show. Also, they have become friendly with Miss Stacy Nunez, Staff Sergeant Stacy Nunez. She's in Germany doing her tour. She's stationed there, so she might do that show and possibly do the Romanian Muscle Fest. So you get the Europa on the 6th, Romanian on the 12th. She can stretch it. That's just a week apart, just about.
Yeah, so okay. So the Rising, the person who wins second place at the Rising wins 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's the highest amount of points that anybody can win, excluding at Miss Olympia. So in terms of people like you can go pretty much if you were to win if you were into second at Rising Phoenix, you would either be tied or be in the running for the third spot at the Miss Olympia for
Points qualification.
for the following competitors currently: Irene Anderson, Yashina Speak, Michelle Brent, Claudia, last name Kranov, Hugh, Chelsea Oliver, Gislia Chan, Julia Foray, Scovita Barry,
Sequito Moreno.
yeah, Victoria Dominguez. I'm not butchering these names on purpose.
I know. It's sometimes some of those names can be a little bit difficult, especially the ones like Shaquita. That's an around the way girl name. I know that out the gate. The rest of especially ones like overseas, a lot of the foreign girls. Some of the names can be really kind of be dicey. So that could be it though. But I think with
Anastasia. Oh, I'm not even done yet. Anastasia Lenova.
well,
Erica,
Anastasia Villanova, she's not going. She has issues with her visa because she lives in Russia, and we know right now Russia, because I'm saying the shit they're doing right now, they're blocking. I think blocking America. I think Americans are blocking a lot of Russian citizens for coming in, or something other, or just some issue with visa. If she don't have enough time to clear that up, she's not going to compete. She says she's going to do a show, but she can't be able to come here. Might as well don't even count her per se. And I think Anastasia Kovalova, she might be doing Europa and also possibly doing She done the Romania at least 2 or 3 times. She earned a pro card in Romania, and then she's competed there twice since then.
Yeah. So and then we got Erica Denkova,
Erica
uh,
Denkova, yeah,
Gabriela Pina, Anastasia Kovalova,
yeah, just saying.
uh, Kelly
Just say Kelly. Just skip.
Lefrevre.
Just say the names. You skip. Just don't get all along. You just go to take first names and
Yeah,
go through. We have to
yeah.
go.
Tina Flex, Felicia
Oh, you mean
Spartakis.
okay, Felicia?
Yeah. I Ivana
Oh,
Dovakovia.
yeah. Yeah, I mentioned her.
Yeah, Leah Denny, Janine Wickler, to Leah Ridiki, and the other two that are on the list who are at the good old 1 point.
That's my dear friend Jada Beverly. She got 1 point. And Jada, she's not that. She's not
They
competing.
the only way that they could win, get to the uh, uh,
Olympia
Miss Olympia at this point is if they
win pretty much. That's it. Win.
they either win a show or they got to basically come in like second place in 2 or 3 of the upcoming shows. Like they'd have to do like maybe get second at Rising and then like
Well, it's gonna be close because you got to think about it. Like again, with the Rising is gonna be the 5th of November. Europa is gonna be the 6th. Then they have to come here and try to do Savannah in next month. So I think it's gonna be really next to unless they can do Rising, fly back to Europe and do Romania. I don't think it's gonna be possible. So that means that they have to possibly do Savannah, do Europa, and stay overseas and do the Romanian. Maybe try to get the points of qualification. That's really it because no point trying because you already know we're not going to count the Rising because the fact is those competitors are already selected.
yeah.
So those competitors that competed the Rising, they only they after if some of them are already going to be at Savannah, and I believe, and then those that compete in the Rising, they probably can only do the Romanian muscle fast, and that's it because Europa will be too tight. We weren't able to have time to leave and fly because I think that's a good 10 8 hour flight to Spain, and then you'll be having enough time to get ready because it takes you got to at least give yourself a couple of days to get ready to get adjusted. You shake off the jet lag, and I know I remember Tisha Thomas when she did Romania a few years ago. She was sick. That was if you ever watch her Iron Tigress documentary, she was really going through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess to end it on, basically, I didn't like some of the placing of the show, but overall, I think the winner was correct. Congratulations to Miss Mears and McCarr for winning their Masters. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, congratulations.
And Michelle Brent, this is her last year, competing. So everybody, give her a shout out as well.
Let's give it a clap because Michelle Britt is the last of the true female bodybuilders in this sport. She should be at the Rising Phoenix. I heard some information that somebody might be dropping out of that show. I think they should give give her that person's spot. Because
Yeah,
she deserves it. This is because she's doing it because I was talking with her on IG how she was competing against Cheryl Mears, and she was like seeing that her then Cheryl went through cancer, and I made me think about a dear friend Miss Ronaldie Charisma. Now she was dealing with cancer, and and Cheryl, she said she wasn't feeling too well because she did the Master Show maybe a couple weeks before that, and she just wasn't in the best condition. I was kind of disappointed. I thought she would win this show. And you know, it's not, as you know, Masters is not a Olympia qualifier, but next year there's talks that Masters shows. I think you know Olympia is bringing Masters to the Olympia, also bringing women's bodybuilding to the amateur shows. So if you're a competitor, I was talking yesterday in my interview with Miss Yetta May Hansel. She just found this out. I told her they're having women's bodybuilding for the amateurs, and she competes in physique. So if you like, you can double dip. You can do physique, you can do women's open, you know, and that's a great thing. You know.
Yep.
And yeah. So as you know, this is our Muscle Talk episode 96. We are just 4 episodes away from 100. And next week we're gonna find something to talk about because the fact is it's gonna be kind of dry for the next 2 or 3 weeks. There are no shows with embodiment. There's some shows. You know, I might even look into a show that has weird physique. We can talk about that, or we can talk about another subject that might be too close to us. You know, as fans of bodybuilding. But like I said, we'll find something to talk about because that is we know that there are not enough shows. I wish there were more. One thing is that what bodybuilding needs is more sponsors. Want body sponsors some of these shows. I mean, that thing is about the money, financial issues.
It
Body, hmm?
it used to be only 3 shows at one point in like the early 2000s. So compared to that, this is like it used to be in like the much darker in terms of like show getting access to shows at one point.
Yeah, I remember there were at least I think the 3 shows there was the Olympia, Miss International, and there was the Jantana. But then I think they got some more shows. There was some couple shows over Europe, I believe, also. But then you had shows like the I think you had the Atlantic City Pro, you had New York Pro, you know, and you had you had Europa Super Show. One point you had at least a good part, I think, around about between 2004 and 2012, you had at least maybe 4 or 5 more shows. But this is pretty good. But the problem is there's a possibility some shows may not come back next year. And that's why some of these shows need sponsors. You know, this is what I'm talking to you like this. If you have the means and the way, I know there's a lot of guys who are bodybuilders most who have deep pockets. Reach out to like shows like the Vancouver Island Show. You know, if you're in Canada, try to keep women bodybuilding in that show so competitors can have a show to go to. If you live in Minneapolis, try to keep up the indie show. You know, my dear friend Miss Beverly, Jetta Beverly, she put her money in, and her company did, and they kept that show. We need that show. The Omaha, as you know, the Reading Strength No Longer sponsors that show. If you're interested in keeping women's bodybuilding at a show, that's another show that needs to be there. The show in Brazil, you know, that's a new show. Try to keep that show going if you can. If you are out, if you're somebody telling you live in Brazil and you're a guy who has the ways and means, try to keep that show going. We need to keep these shows going for these competitors so there wouldn't be so few. And this year wasn't a great year because some women weren't ready, injuries, everything like that. But this year, ladies, be prepared. You know, stack up your chips, make your money, stack up your chips. You know, do shows out of the country too. Portugal, you know, Europa, you know, Romania, go to Canada. I know some of ladies are not very you don't like the idea of doing vaccination because Canada has those guidelines. But hey, what's taking a shot, 2 shots to get you from getting this virus and going to a country? It's not that hard. And, you know, you take the give you take. You know, you shouldn't be worried about how much a vaccine will affect you. Vaccines will do nothing to you. I gotta get my booster.
So,
I'm trying to get my booster as soon as I can because I'm going to go to Savannah. I don't want to take a chance. You know, I'm going to get my booster.
And then now you got monkeypox and all this other stuff.
Oh my god! With monkeypox, you have to be real close, intimate touching, and I hadn't been touching anybody other than maybe hugging my sister and I hugged my nephew. I think last time I saw him, we came by, but that's about it. But yeah, we need to be careful out there. We're still going through this pandemic. We got a new emergency coming up. Just people, just be smart. And don't be like some people who just say vaccine will kill you. No, it's not kill you. Vaccines have been in use because my man here, He works for a pharmacy. He understands this stuff it's been around for years. And I respect his intelligence. And I respect him.
It's been around. Well, technically, I mean, vaccines have been around for at least since like the 19th century. If we're talking about like proto vaccines, like the idea
Smallpox.
of no, the idea of getting a virus, but a weak strain of the virus and inoculate it. That's been around for centuries, honestly. Like probably millennia, like at least 1,000 years that I can remember. Um, Europeans learned it from Asian and African cultures, which is why they got the idea for inoculation. That's what, at least in America, that's how Washington learned that, and he implemented it for his troops. So if it was good enough for Washington to deal with smallpox, then it's good enough for everybody, I think.
That's true, and appreciate that. Thank you for the knowledge. My hand of the emperor. So, folks, it was a pretty good show. The Tampa. Like I said, we're going to be dry for the next 2 or 3 weeks until Savannah, and then after that, we're going to be really dry until we get the Rising Phoenix, also the Europa show, and also the remaining Muscle Fest, and that's that. We'll have the Olympia. I think Olympia maybe a couple weeks after the Romanian, and after that, folks, we're gonna get some subjects to talk about. I know y'all guys like my man JM 2022 coming through. We appreciate you, brother, for supporting my channel and supporting my content. All the people that watch who like this video, appreciate that. If you missed it, you can watch it later, and give you a critique of it, give you comments. I like your comments, good or bad. It tells me that you really pay attention to what we're talking about. So, my partner, are we done for the evening?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, other than just buy the pay-per-views if you can. Go to the shows if you can, and speak with your dollar. That's probably the best I can tell you on that. And other than that, on to Savannah.
And also, if you are somebody who follow female bodybuilders and you genuinely want to support and sponsor one, go reach out to them. Be genuine about when you sponsor things. Don't be one of these guys be looking like, hey, if you give me this, I give you that. No. Be somebody say, you know what, I see an athlete, I see you can use a little help. I want to help you. I want nothing out of it but to see you to progress. And that's one thing that these ladies can use. They can use any kind of support, be it financially, be it just being somebody to talk to sometimes. So some of the ladies I talk to, they use that. They like somebody telling them, hey, you're doing good, you're doing all right. They like telling you the good and the bad and the ugly. Also letting you know that everything's all right. They're fine. Be respectful. All right. So, like I said, this is our Muscle Talk episode 96. This is my man, my partner, Jin, Hand of the Emperor.
Here we go.
All right. This is your man, all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom Talk. I'd like to thank y'all again for coming through, listening, and commenting. Share, like, subscribe, support bodybuilding, whichever form it is, be it the men or the women, and show you respect as these competitors are athletes also. So this is your man, all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom Talk. Don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I am out. Have a great afternoon.